Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to my online lesson on forming and solving equations from shapes. So I'm going to cover the more basic examples in this video where they're usually talking about the perimeter of a shape or they're talking about their angles. This question here says the perimeter of this triangle is 19, all lengths on the diagram are in centimetres, work out the value of t. The first thing I'm always going to do is form an equation. So there's either some information that I know or that I'm given in the question that will enable me to do this. In this question they've told me the perimeter of the triangle is 19. That means that this distance all the way around the shape is 19. And I know that this side here is t minus 1, this is t add 3, and this is t add 4. So these three things combined will make 19. So that's the equation I'm going to write out. So my first step is going to be to write it out fully. So t add 4, add t, add 3, add t, take away 1 equals 19. So that'll get me some marks already. Now I can simplify this, so I have 1, 2, 3 t's, so I can write 3t, and I've got 4, add 3, that's 7, take away 1, that's 6, so 3t add 6 is 19. So now I can solve this equation. I'm just going to do that up here. So 3t add 6 equals 19. So I'm going to take away 6 from both sides. That'll give me 3t equals 13. And then divide both sides by 3. Now I know that I can't divide 13 by 3 perfectly, my answer's not going to be an integer, so I can just write 13 over 3 as a fraction. And that's fine to leave my answer like that. I could convert it into a mixed number, so that will be 4 and a third, but either one of these answers is fine, and that is my value of t. Here's a slightly different example for us to look at. This question says the diagram shows a triangle. The sizes of the angles in degrees are 3x, 2x and x add 30. Work out the value of x. So they've not really given me any information in the question here that will let me form an equation. I've got the size of the angles, but that's it. And this is because they're expecting you to know that the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So the equation I can write is that the three angles, so the 3x, add the 2x, add x, add 30, equals 180. So that's my first step. So I can simplify this just like before. So I've got 3x, 2x and 1x. So altogether I have 6x. And I also have my plus 30. So plus 30 equals 180. And I can solve this equation. So subtract 30 from both sides. I have 6x equals 150. And then divide by 6. I get that x equals 25. And that's my answer. It's worth noting here that on both of these examples I've just completed, the question could be work out the value of the largest angle or work out the value of the smallest side. And all this would mean doing is substituting this value here, this 25, back into these three angles. So let's say the question was work out the size of the largest angle. Well, 3x would be 3 times 25, which is 75. 2x would be 2 times 25, which equals 50. And x add 30 would be 25, add 30, which would be 55. So the size of the largest angle would be the 75 here. This is also a great way of checking that I've done my answer right. I said that the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if I've done this right, 75, add 50, add 55 should be 180. And if I add them together, I know it is 180. So I've done this question right, and I've banked these 3 marks. In question 1, it might have been difficult on a non-calculator paper for me to spend the time working out what the length of the 3 sides were, because my answer was a complicated fraction. I could have done, but it might not be worth the time. Here are 2 questions for you to try. So the first one is the angles in a quadrilateral, and the second one is another perimeter question. If you pause the video now, then play when you're ready to see the solutions. So here are the 2 solutions. You should have got for the first one that x is 60, and if you look in green, I've worked out the size of all 4 angles, and I add them together and see that they make 360, so I know I've done this question right. And for the second question, you should have got the value of x is 3, and again I worked out the value of the 4 sides and checked that they added to make 24, so I know I've done that question right as well. It's worth noting on this second question that I could have instead realised that the side AD and the side DC make up half of the perimeter, so this add this would have been 12, and it would have been a much simpler equation to solve. Thank you for watching.